Hi, I'm Lisa Neff-Wheeler. I've lived in New Jersey the majority of my life. I've lived in the Hillsborough, Montgomery, New Jersey area for over 30 years. I love living here. The area has maintained its country feel while having the conveniences of a more urban area. I look forward to sharing why I love the area and the local businesses. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Lisa Neff-Wheeler, realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I'm here today with Henry Lee. Henry is the owner of Summit Cleaning. He cleans both commercial and residential properties. He lives in Hillsborough and also has many clients in Hillsborough. I've been looking forward to the interview to learn more about Henry and how he started his business. Thanks for joining me, Henry. How's your weekend?
Thanks for having me. It was great. How was yours?
It was good. It was like the first perfect beach weekend. So
Right.
I was down the beach for a change.
Nice. Where'd you go?
Right outside of Point Pleasant. So I've been going there since I was a little kid. So
Jersey
it's
girl.
my place. I drive over
Jersey
to the
girl.
bridge and I go to Calmness. So
There you go. Nice.
So why don't we start with, I know you were in your family's business previously, and it was a similar type business. So talk a little bit about why you decided to leave them and kind of what was your journey to create your own business?
Good question. So it all boils down to I have an obligation to my kids and to myself, right? So in order for me to be the best version of me to my kids as a dad, to my wife, and just to me, I realized I had to bet on me and do what I had been wanting to do for a long, long time. So I realized I needed to be in the captain's chair, sink or swim, fail or success, right? But if I was going to fail, I was going to fail in the captain's chair. If I was going to hustle and grind and try to make it work, I was going to be happier in the captain's chair, right? And, back to the obligation to my kids, I could tell them all day long for their entire life, give it a shot, try, take a risk, and at some point they'll be old enough to figure out that daddy was too scared himself, but he always said that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to stop saying it and put one foot in front of the other and start. So that's how it. Now, it wasn't easy to put that foot in front,
It's brave. It's really brave.
Although as I'm learning, it's easier than I thought. It's scarier than it is, right? The little that I understand about your background as well, you had made career change.
Yeah.
And for some of the reasons I think are similar, family, has a lot to do with it. And, as confident, based off of all my experience in this industry, as confident as I am knowing how to do it, there's still this, what do I do? Right. And, I spent a long time that, what is it? Analysis to paralysis.
Yeah, analysis to paralysis. Yep.
So that was it. So the journey was spent a lot of time in one space, one place, not moving forward, thinking about it. That was most of the journey prior to actually starting the journey, right? And then I really thought long and hard, what areas do I know in my sleep? Well, I don't need a partner and I don't need help with that. What areas do I feel I know people that can help me out and that I would understand it and I would spend the least amount of time down the rabbit hole and figuring out I went the wrong way and coming back, right?
Yep.
And then there were other areas I just said, don't even start to figure it out. If you know somebody who can help you, then let's fast forward your success and minimize your mistakes. And that's what it was. So part of that journey is that I have a business partner, and he has his own business. And we talked about how we want to structure this partnership. And that's that. So he is part of that journey, and he's also mentoring me quite a bit, helping me figure out stuff. I'm not a computer guy yet. I'll probably regrow hair before I become a computer guy. But I'm willing to learn. So that's the long-winded answer to your question. That's the journey.
No,
and I'm still on it, so it's good.
That's a good answer. How do you balance? And I ask most people who have their own business this question: how do you balance your commitments to your family, your wife, and your kids? And then your commitment to your business. And starting a business at the beginning, it's all consuming and it's a lot of time. So how have you navigated that journey? Because I look to you. I always ask this question because I would like to get advice and see how other people are dealing with it.
This is my own personal opinion, and I have to accept this so that it's not any more difficult than it already is. So my answer is there is no balance. Navigating, I'll use your word, navigating. That's probably a better description, right? You want to be really good at something. Other things can't happen at the same time. So there is no balance, right? And then all right, I'm get some legs, I get some momentum over here, and I've been neglecting something. I have to pick up where I left off, and then now there is no balance, right? So I don't personally, I don't look for balance. If there is balance, I don't know where to look for it. I don't know what the answer is and how to answer balance, right? But for me, I'm not looking for balance. Because I'm not a computer guy, so I have to spend some free time on figuring out how to work Excel, or how to, become better with QuickBooks Online, or products, or whatever it is, right? So as far as the family thing goes, I realize there's less need for damage control if I spend time with them first, and even if it is a little bit of time, right? While the hours are appropriate to spend time with my kids, right? Do that first for me. Then I'm up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning doing the other stuff, right? So no, there's no balance for me, at least, right? It's juggling the priorities, and which one can hold off and which one shouldn't hold off.
Gotcha. So go back, because I know you've been doing this for a little bit of time. Talk about how it was when you first started, like that first month of you being in business for yourself. How was it?
For myself, right? So, so I've been in the industry for 42 years. Right? So my parents had started a business that long ago. So I was 10, 11 years old. And then Summit Cleaning, since October of 2021, right? So, it wasn't as nerve-wracking, not even close, as I thought, because here's why. And I was surprised by this myself. And then once I realized why I felt comfortable, it made total sense for me. I wasn't starting a new industry. I wasn't trying to learn anything new, right?
Fair point.
I just went from a family business in the cleaning industry to my own business in the cleaning industry. So it wasn't a matter of what products should I try to figure out. I already know what products worked for all these years. So I'm not saying there aren't great products out there. I don't know them all, but I know for me to get started, I didn't have to figure out what to, just buy what you know. Start where you are and just go. So I had that to my advantage with starting Summit Cleaning. It was in an industry that I already know, right? So there was that. As far as finding people and companies, like any husband who doesn't know, they listen to their wife. So my wife said, "Hey, you should look at some of these online groups. Hillsborough, mom to mom." All right. I don't know anything about it. In fact, I hadn't used my Facebook account ever until I started, using and joining these sites. There's that. And then there was one paid website, didn't cost much. It was $10. And it was right. If I'm going to put money into it, easy to lose $10 a month than something large and who knows, right? And as a result of that website, I picked up 3 customers.
Oh, that's great.
And I hustled. I'm handy. I'm fairly handy. So I already know, with all the years of cleaning residential accounts in my parents' business, these little odd jobs that I can pick up that I'm not advertising as a handyman, right?
Right.
So, for example, changing the caulk in bathrooms, the tubs, right? Sinks, toilets, kitchen surrounds, right? I can do that. I already know how to do that, and I do that fairly well. So I knew if I worked hard enough with the regular scope of work of being a cleaner, I could pick up these little odd jobs and then make a request. If you're satisfied, can I discount this handyman job in lieu of a review? Right?
Yep.
So I use my own personal resources and tools.
Gotcha.
So I was comfortable and confident with the experience and these other little things that might give me an edge. And that's how it started from October to now.
Gotcha. So what surprised you most about, you worked in the industry, you work with your family. What surprised you most about it being you and having your own business? What was the kind of aha moment?
How happy I am.
That's awesome.
That's the truth. I don't have anxiety when I have to speak to a homeowner about whatever it is they're calling me for, right? Here you go. So right now I'm a solo cleaner, right? And I'm at the foot of the hill where I have to hire, right? And my business partner and I are writing the ads now for hiring. All these years that I've been cleaning, it'd been team cleaning, 4 or 5 people in a house. So if you have a 4,000, 5,000 square foot house, it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? So that was the biggest surprise, because I remember the first customer I had, it's a 2-bedroom, and I still have her. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. And I remember how long it took as a solo cleaner.
Yep.
And I literally said, "What's wrong with me? What are you doing wrong? Why is it taking you so long?" Right? So then I realized, it's because it's little old me. Right?
Yes. There's not 4 other people helping you.
That's right. So that's probably the biggest surprise in AHA. So now when I go out and I'm giving estimates and it's just me, it doesn't change the price because I give a flat rate, right?
Yeah.
But I take into consideration, okay, how many can I schedule this particular day?
Right.
Should I happen to acquire this account?
Right.
That's the learning curve for me. And other than that, again, I still to this day, back to my first answer, I'm surprised at how happy I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it feels great.
So what are your customers saying that they love best about you?
I'm thorough. Some of the feedback I get just off of my estimates, I appreciate how thorough your estimate is when I email them the scope of work, right? there's that. Uh, that's what I know. That's been the feedback.
Mhm.
Other than that, I could tell you what I hope they say, because I don't know, right? I haven't read any of my Facebook reviews.
Gotcha.
Partly because I'm not the computer guy and I don't know how to find them. um, but the other reason is I honestly, like, I'm doing this a long time and I'm not speaking outside of my lane. I know my wheelhouse.
Gotcha. Hmm. Hmm.
So again, I don't know what they would say, but I have an idea, right? I do what I say I'm going to do.
Hmm.
Even if it means I'm in an empty house till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's happening
Uh-huh.
just to get it
Uh-huh.
done, because I said I'd get it done before you
Right.
walk in your house Saturday. I do
Right.
what I say I'm going to do. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I do what I say I'm going to do.
That's it.
So
That's
I hope that's what the customers would say.
it's awesome. So what motivates you and drives you?
I want to work on the business, right? So getting to the point where I can scale
Uh-huh.
and now manage a business, right? Yeah, that gets me a little jazzed. I like that.
Cool.
Right. And knowing that I know what my schedule is going to be. I know what my weekend schedule is going to be come Thursday and Friday night, right? So having that kind of I don't want to say control, because that could be negative, right?
No,
But
I think it's fair.
I'd rather say having the predictability of my time,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
I don't mind.
time's important.
Well, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
If I had to boil it all down, my obligations to my family, but it's just controlling my time, right?
Mhm.
Again, I have worked after my recurring residential customers on a Friday. I've gone back to work, gotten there at 10 o'clock at night, and I hadn't left till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
right? All because I don't want to work Sunday,
Yeah,
right? So that's the time thing, right? So
that makes sense.
it's, again, so I don't know that it's control, but it's predictability.
Yeah.
Controlling
Makes
that too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So looking at you're not a year in. You're getting towards that. I'm going to be a year in.
Right.
So what are your goals for your second year that you've thought about? And what challenges do you think you're going to face? And what help do you need to make sure that you achieve those goals?
So the challenges right away are gonna be hiring staff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the
You're
only
not the
one in
only
that
one that
boat.
says that, by
I'm
the
not
way.
the only one in that boat. Exactly. Right. But it's not a situation. It's not a challenge that I'm not going to be surprised by the challenge, because
Yeah.
having worked with the family business for all these years and hired, right? So the challenge is going to be making sure that I have systems in place
Mhm.
to minimize those challenges, I would think, right?
Right.
And making sure that I am slow and steady, right? You get overwhelmed and then take on too
Yeah.
many things. You overcommit, and
Yeah.
now you're not doing what you say you're going to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's probably going to be the challenge now, and that challenge is always going to exist whenever you're in a position of hiring.
Gotcha.
Right? Okay. And then making sure I've got reliable, trustworthy people. So again, that comes back to the systems and the interview process, right?
Yep.
So that would be the challenges. That's always going to exist, and that's never going to go away. As far as going into year number 2, I'm shoot for the stars. Do I want to double my growth and two times, 3 times my growth? Sure,
Uh-huh.
I do. But realistically, I think statistically they say however many companies in the first 5 years, like 80% of the companies in the first 5 years fail,
Yeah.
right? And then in the next 10 years, some percentage of those companies that succeed fail, right?
Yep.
So just making sure that I'm steady, that I'm growing slow and steady, because I already know that 5-year mark is going to be that challenge, right? Luckily, residential cleaning, commercial cleaning, there's always dirt. So like job security on my end, right?
Dust is always there.
Exactly. And, there's other people who have probably the same mindset or similar mindset with time, controlling time and predictability. They're looking for help, and they're going to farm out some of those necessary evils that come along with, cleaning, right? So as long as there's people that are, willing to pay for services, and I think there will always be in any economy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'll be okay. I'll be challenged, but I think I'll be okay. And even if I stayed solo, it's not the goal, but even if I stayed solo, right? Just because I turned solo doesn't mean the dirt goes away. So, I'd like to double within 2 years. I'd like to see a double in growth.
So anything else you need besides the hiring? Like, because, we're in this joy of inflation, probably going to recession, yada, yada, all the economic, it's going the opposite way that it's done
Sure.
over the last, 10 years or so. I mean, does that challenge concern you?
Sure. Right. I mean, I think I'd be naive and foolish to say no. Right. Sure, it does. Because, when there's inflation problems, there's less play money, and less play money means you have to think about where you spend it. All right. So does that mean I have to cut back on the number of services if you are, hiring a service? Or does that mean I'm not hiring services, right? So if I've got monthly customers, well, that means I lose customers if they cut back, right?
Yeah.
If I have bi-weekly customers every other week, well, then they cut back to monthly, right? So yeah, it's always a concern, right? I think if you're in business and you're not concerned, then I don't want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to talk to you, right? Right. I want to speak to people that I think are realistic about it, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing would be helpful would be to cultivate relationships with real estate agents.
We can use you, man.
Yeah. So for all the years that my family's had the business, it's a great partnership. It's always been a great partnership. You have a house, you're listing it, you speak to your homeowners and you say, hey, you should spruce this up a bit, right? Then they were like, okay, do you have somebody you could suggest and recommend? Well, real estate agents, for the most part, have a list of other services that they can say, hey, I know a painter or a handyman, or here's a little map of the local township in the area. Check these places out, right?
Right.
You become a networker, right?
Yep.
So really what it comes down to is networking. That would be helpful. And that's in it, not just with, real estate agents, just networking with other business owners and other people, right?
Well, Henry, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really nice having a conversation.
Likewise.
And learning more about you and your journey in Summit Cleaning. And for our audience, thanks so much for watching. Once again, I'm Lisa Neff-Wheeler, realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty. And if you have a business or know someone that has a business and would like to be featured, please don't hesitate to contact me at 732-267-1204. Take care. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye.